And welcome, hackers, to another episode. And today I think we're going to touch on one of the most hottest topics at Christmas time, and that is around budgeting. And unfortunately for many families, Christmas comes but not once a year, but actually lingers on for months. Things like credit card bills arriving shortly after Christmas, that you've stacked pile of gifts and decorations and all sorts of things that basically take you all the next year, can sometimes, to pay off. Unfortunately, this is not a good way to have a post-Christmas guilt spending. So let's have a plan this year, because we're all about forward thinking and planning, and let's fight this seasonal spending spree with a Christmas budget. And we're going to cover some easy ideas to help you to create and keep a holiday budget that will save you money but also give you the Christmas that you're after. Now, a budget is much more than just a piece of paper. It really is a way to allocate funds and to track that spending. Used properly, a budget provides an at-a-glance picture of where you're at and perhaps the spending areas that you need to cut back on to make sure you hit your target and not to go over it. And remember why we're doing this. It really helps us to lessen the burden and stress of Christmas if we know we're staying within budget. You know, we don't have that guilt or overwhelming feeling after Christmas. So, let's try and make this a debt-free Christmas by spending accordingly to what we can afford. And folks, remember, this is a one day of a year. It's really nothing special. These people are with you all the time. It's only one day, so there's no reason to overspend or get into debt to celebrate, because really the true meaning of Christmas is just being present with your family and enjoying a laugh and having some joy. And that, my friends, doesn't cost anything. So to help you create a Christmas budget, we have put together some planners and checklists in our Hack the Holidays handbook. So make sure to grab those. They're free from declutteringyou.com/Christmas hacks. Print those out and then we'll get started. So first thing first is actually set a limit. So find out what you can afford to spend on Christmas this year, and this is the limit you're going to stick to. So this needs to include everything: food, gifts, parties, everything that you need to have a good Christmas. So to create our Christmas budget, we're going to need three things. We're going to need some spending categories, set some spending goals, and then track those ongoing expenditures. So first off, let's list all the categories that may come under your family's holiday spending. And these obviously will be different for different families, but some common ones you need to think about: gifts, stocking stuffers, gift wrap, postage and shipping costs, Christmas cards, perhaps the family holiday photo, tips and service gifts that you want to give out for things like teachers and people that help around your house, holiday meals, baking and kitchen gifts, entertaining, decorations and decor and the Christmas tree, perhaps any home improvements that you need to do before you have guests come, any travel expenses, holiday clothing, any giving charitable donations you'd like to make, and if possible, some spending at the post-Christmas sales. But like I said, pick some categories that are relevant to how you're going to spend your Christmas this year. So then the next step is to decide on a spending limit. So remember, you have your overall Christmas budget, and now we're breaking it up into different sections and deciding how much you can spend on each category. And start by allocating funds to the most important categories. And remembering this year is heavier than usual on certain meals or going out or cab fares or Uber fares, so make sure to include those, which may mean that you need to cut back in other less important areas, such as new decorations or the holiday cards or perhaps some gifts to the extended family. Now remember, when setting these spending goals, you need to keep the bottom line in mind and your overall budget that you have for the Christmas period. And you may want to get some extra services in to help with the house, such as a carpet cleaner and things like that. But just make sure, A, you can afford it, and is there other cheaper alternatives, such as renting a steamer, for example, to do the carpet yourself. Or perhaps doing it after Christmas, once all your guests have gone. And so once you've got all your categories, add it up, just making sure it's within your total budget. and then perhaps look at some areas that you may need to cut back on, alternatives to celebrate the season without breaking the bank. Again, remembering what's important this time of year. Now, the most important thing for keeping this budget is actually to keep on tracking your ongoing expenses. Now, it's no use setting these goals without monitoring them to making sure you're being within your spending limits. So every time you make a purchase, make sure you're recording the actual spending so you stay aware of how much things are costing you. And do this as much as, as quick as you can, but at least weekly, update your totals and compare them to your spending goals. Now, make sure at season's end that you keep a copy of your budget and perhaps where you went over or where you went under to help you for planning for next year's Christmas. And so knowing how much you need, you may be able to start in the new year putting away some extra money throughout the whole year so you can have perhaps a holiday at Christmas next year, or you can afford to update some decorations or buy a flashy new outfit. So there's nothing like a budget to keep you on track, but also help you save for the next year ahead. I hope that helps. Now, if you want to find out more, make sure to head to declutteringyou.com/Christmas hacks. We'll have a link to all these episodes with further information, as well as a link to download our free planner.